let's take a look at the petroleum downstream sector. And the case for a petroleum hub, CSOs in the energy sector call for reforms in the petroleum downstream activities. Charles Owusu, Esquire, FCA, is an energy economist. He is a chartered accountant and a lawyer with over 13 years of experience in the energy sector, specializing in strategic leadership, financial governance, and tax policy in both private and public sectors. So, and he is the former CEO of the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation. So you would say that the founding CEO, right, of Petroleum Hub. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here.
Good morning. Thank you.
Well, that's, I mean, when I saw you, I was like, wow, such a young guy with a lot of achievement like that. But that's huge. Anyway, in terms of the hub, the Petroleum Hub Corporation that we were doing, where will you say we are as of this moment?
As of now, we are at a point of implementation.
Okay.
Remember, or you recall, in June 18, 2024, the then President and the then Minister for Energy, Honorable Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, signed an agreement between a Chinese consortium, which is for the phase one, $12 billion US, who is going to implement one refinery, one petrochemical plant, 3 million storage, and a jetty.
Okay.
Yes, so then August last year, the president also cut a short for the commencement, and you know, we all went back for the election. And so the plan of the consortium is also, you know, they are Chinese consortium, so they are preparing for the Chinese holiday. And so end of Q1, which is April, they start the implementation in terms of the grounds preparation, the civil works, and then they start the storage and the jetty, and then they take off. So basically, that's where we are. So we are more of at the implementation stage or the foundational stage of the petroleum hub. So
as we speak, there's nothing on the ground?
There's nothing. Okay. What is on the ground is the preparatory work in terms of feasibility, in terms of environmental protection, which we call the C, Strategic Environmental Assessment that EPA did. So everything is the preparatory stage. The real work will begin in April by the consortium for the phase one. Yeah.
Okay. So the jetty, I also know there's a construction of like a harbor of a sort around the area.
Okay, so the whole project is an export-driven project. So the idea is to take advantage of our strategic location. You know, we are in the middle of the world. Even though TOR is not up and doing, we are feeding or supporting over 3 to 6 countries, the landlocked countries. So it gives you that there's the market. So the idea is to do the export-driven, where the domestic market in terms of TOR and CENTU will consider the domestic market. The hub will only come in when there's a shortage. Okay. So the idea is an export zone. So that's why it's a free zone concept. So the land is being declared as a free zone, which gives room for the private sector to come, which will incentivize them to be able to invest their money. So it is a jetty and a port infrastructure. It's going to be one of the biggest in West Africa and that of Africa. So it's in tandem with the Africa Continental Free Trade. So that is the rationale behind that. And it's also going to bridge between the upstream. You know, we don't have a midstreamer, properly so-called. Yeah. So it's going to bridge the gap between the upstream and the downstream. So for regulatory purposes, now we have the upstream and then we have the downstream. So once we get the petroleum hub taking shape, then there's going to be that vertical integration purpose for Ghana in terms of you're able to explore and produce and then process and then retail. So basically that is the concept. So, so the jetty comes with the port infrastructure. Yeah.
So you take from the upstream sector?
Yes.
And process and make it available?
Yes.
To the downstream?
Yeah, basically.
In some cases?
Yes. So, you know, we're already producing oil, though it's declining. So the idea is to get those crude to be able to process at the hub, or we import from other countries available like Nigeria or Namibia recently, or anywhere that we get Angola, Cote d'Ivoire, to be able to process. So the feedstock is coming from the upstream, and then you process and then give it to the retailers within the downstream. So we're looking at the storage and the transportation, basically.
But on that, recently, I mean, just today, I received a letter from an Nzema group who have written to the presidency, alerting them about a petition they want to submit. And quote from their letter, they say, I mean, if you look at it, okay. They said lack of free, prior, and informed consent and legal as well as constitutional challenges around the proposed compulsory acquisition of 20,000 acres of our private lands. Why that? Why do you take the alarm with that, what they say?
Thank you. So, you know, the land issue has become a big challenge when it comes to embarking on infrastructure. So what the government sought to do was to acquire the land compulsorily. And you know, when you take the constitution, it allows government to acquire land compulsorily if you are using it for the public good or to affect majority of the country. I believe all of us know when it comes to petroleum or petroleum product, it affects everybody. So what government sought to acquire the land compulsory, and if you look at the Land Act, 1036, section 240 to 248, it specifies what government needs to do if you want to acquire lands or private lands or school lands, what you need to do if you want to acquire land compulsory and compensate them appropriately.
Okay.
So all those processes have been done, stakeholder engagement has been done. I think the issue here is more of, you know, who is to receive the compensation, because per the document available, the entire land is 2 lands. Some also claim they are individual lands. So it's more of the compensation bit. But in terms of the procedure and processes, everything has been followed. The last bit was the EI, which is the Executive Instrument Publication, that gives you title. And we got that approval on the 3rd of December by Cabinet. And now the AG is processing to do the publication. So that is the only administrative bit, because once the EI is given by the presidency or cabinet, it means you've ended the process if you follow the 1036, the Land Act. So basically, that's it. But these are concerns that will never end. You know, even as you sit here today, across more land, people are still complaining that they were not compensated their land. So land issue, you need to manage it. It's about more relationship and not forcing your way out. So that is what we've been dealing with them. So I think the concern that has been sent to President maybe will direct to Ministry of Energy, then we'll sit down, or the incoming CEO will pick it up, and then they will sit down with the chiefs and the people concerned. So I think that is what they are trying to do. I think the issue is who received the compensation, because, you know, it's huge. The compensation is huge because 20,000 acres of land. And another concern people also raised that the land is huge. The land, 20,000. Great.
That's a lot of land.
So if you take the 20,000 acres of land, the real acres that is going to be used for this project is 11,000.
Okay.
11,000 acres. The rest are nature reserves and walkways. So if I can, so let me deal with the nature.
9,000 acres.
Sorry.
9,000 acres.
About 6,000 is nature reserves.
Okay.
So you know we have the Domli Lagoon there.
Yeah.
When the experts were looking at it, the question was, should we leave it or we should protect it? We all have seen, if you go to East Legon, waterways, people are building and all of that. And you see, once this project takes off, a lot of infrastructure development are going to happen. And you see people, if care is not taken, people will not care and then destroy our water bodies. So the expert idea was, why don't we add it so government then will protect, because then government will have that good position. So about 6,000 out of the 20,000, which will be level 14,000. Then 11,000 is for the real work, and 13,000 is for buffer areas. You need to protect where car will park and all of that circulation. It's not all everywhere that the project is going to happen. Now, if you take where hubs have been built, if you take Singapore, for instance, Singapore is occupying 8,000 acres. Even, you know, Singapore is an island. Now, aside the hardcore 8,000, they have underground packages that they are storing product because of overflows. And even that, they've given over excess flows to Malaysia, which is a nearby country. Malaysia is occupying 22,000 acres of land. If you go to Rotterdam, over 30,000. If you even come to Dangote sees 50,000, and the thing he has done is occupying Nigeria, 6,500. So it is not the land per se, but it is the infrastructure that is going to put on. So there are a lot of studies across, but I think the issue here is about we protecting the nature reserve. That's why the experts said, let's add it, and then we protect it, so that when the place developed, people don't abuse the nature reserve. So basically, that is what in the land issue.
But you taking 20,000 acres of land from the people. Have we thought about the future repercussions? the population size will grow. It will take 20,000 acres out of what they have.
So we did, if you can speak to the Jomro Municipal Assembly, they will tell you the land acre of Western Nzima, which is the Jomro. We are using the 20,000 is about 6% of the entire land. So all those things have been factored. You know, when such projects are coming, there will be those kind of hearsay and all of that. But that's what I'm saying. It's all about data and management, how you need to explain to people to understand. Your team can verify from the Jomro, the land expert, yes, to give you the land size of Jomro, and then you deduct 20,000 and can do your own computation there.
Another thing that people have spoken about against this project is the lack of transparency. For example, you mentioned the consortium that are working on it. People say, what has been the openness in terms of the engagement of all the people on the project? How do you respond to those people?
Thank you. You know, this is an investment project. This is not a government-led project. Okay. So when people say transparency is
what do you mean by this is not a government-led project?
So
because we are making the 20,000 land available.
Yes, you see, this land is going to be leased. You see, the whole project is like how Dubai has developed. So it's a free zone area. An investor comes, so it's EPC plus F. An investor comes with the money and expertise, and you give the land and you will lease. So you see, government is not actually contributing for this project. It's a new or a novel model that is being explored. So the transparency here is that our website is running, all our social media is running. The project is being phased into 3. We have phase 1, we have phase 2, we have phase 3. Every day we are announcing it. This is how we go through our processes. You come in with expression of interest, we assess, we do due diligence, and once you qualify, then we'll sit down with you to negotiate. So it is not a tendering process. This is not a government-led project like maybe we built toll or we bought the toll from the Italians. This is an open investment forum. Petroleum Hub is more like a free zone GIPC combined together. We are more a facility manager or a caretakers. So we are just more like a one-stop services so that when investors come with us, they're able to get their licenses, their permits, and then they focus on their expertise and their funding. So it is transparent. If that's what we do. When we started, we got about 100 expression of interest. Yeah. But when you do the DD, the answer is not what people are saying. So that is what we do. We are not shredding secrecy to say, oh, we are targeting one particular. If not, by now we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 running. But I believe that's not the case. Yes, so anybody who has dealt with that can call in, or you can open up, maybe do a show and people will speak to see how Petroleum Hub is treating them or dealing with them. We're talking about 60 billion here. The entire project is 60 billion. Okay. Phase 1 is 12 billion. Phase 2 is 27 billion. And phase 3, 21. It is not me sitting and saying, I can do the hub. Phase 2. It is your ability, your technical know-how, and your financial support. So your financial capability. So that is.
So the Chinese are doing the phase 1?
The phase 1, yes.
With 12 billion?
Yes, 12 billion. 12 billion. Yes, they are funding and then their expertise. So they have their own EPCs and then they are funding. What do we do? What we do is to make sure, per the work we've done, that you are supposed to be located here. This is where you need to. So they are going to occupy 1,005 acres of land. To
so what's the benefits of government?
To create jobs. You see, right now, jobs is a critical thing, which even the national security is a national security threat. This project is going to create 780,000 jobs, direct and indirect, to the teeming youth. And I think government idea now is that, why don't you create the enabling environment, the private sector come to thrive, and then we get jobs for our people. And you know, the midstream or the downstream is where the value addition is, and that's where the job creation is. It's not like the upstream. You know what happened in Takrady or the Western region, that when we discovered oil in 2007, production in 2010, everybody, we're going to get jobs, but because the upstream does not recruit as much as the downstream when you are adding value. This is a value addition. And we believe same way Dubai did, and now the Indians and Russians are there to develop and open up. Singapore did, Malaysia is doing. That's what we intend to do. So it's more of about coming out with policies that will support the private sector to come and thrive. Yeah.
Okay, and that's why government is making the 20,000 acres available.
Yes.
Government's interest is to create jobs. We're not getting any monetary value from the 20,000 acres.
No, they are monetary value. You see, there will be taxes. You see, this.
Yeah, I get the taxes bit.
Okay, but when you say monetary value, in terms of government contribution.
The land itself, yes, for free.
It's not for free. I'm saying you lease the land.
Okay.
No. So, you lease the land.
Okay.
You lease the land to the investors. Okay. So the money that government is paying, we can call it a pre-financing. That's what I'm saying. This project takes care of itself. It's a novel concept. So even the land that government is pre-financed because, people's crops, you see, the land compensation is looking at the value on the land itself, and resettlement. And so you need money up front to be able to support this individual that has been affected. And then when you lease the land, you get the money and pay back to government. And you can do yourself. This is the only project that government pays and you get the money back. All government projects, when government is the responsibility of government to acquire the land and then hand over to the agency to implement whatever policy or whatever objective that he has to put in. So.
Okay. All right, so the Chinese, we've locked them that whatever happens, we know that they are going to do the construction.
Yes,
they're going to start.
Yes. So it's a PPP, public-private partnership. Yes. So let me say, what are we bringing on board is the land. However, we've been innovative around it to even lease the land. Ordinarily, you have to give, because see, all the neighboring countries are trying to be strategic to attract investors. We are lucky because of the peace we enjoy. So everybody wants to come to Ghana, and we are also in the middle of the world. So it makes it easy, especially this project, it makes it easy in terms of movement of goods and services. And labor is also there because every Ghanaian is smart. Every Ghanaian has been to school. So, and the labor too is a bit low. So when they come, they will be able to get people to work for them. They don't need to import labor into Ghana. And that's why we are also protecting in terms of our local content base. You saw that we've launched a database that we are trying to get everybody to come in. So that's one of even the transparency. You don't need to know anybody to get job. In the hub, you have to go and process and you put your data in there. Once the investor requests, we push your data to them and then they assess you and pick you then. So basically that is what we're trying to do. Okay,
so PPP and government's contribution is the land, but the land will be leased to the investor.
Yes.
So if I lease your land, how do I still see you as a partner in my project?
No, that's what I'm saying. The partnership is not the partnership we know. Okay. Every day, okay, the two of us has come together to buy this laptop. The partnership is, what is the objective for Ghana is to monetize our central location of the world by coming out with this hub and the persistent lack of petroleum product within the sub-region. So that's the objective. Okay. So government then goes, acquiring land is difficult. So then government use the enabling laws or legislation to be able to get the land and then get the private sector to try by giving incentives. Remember, it's going to be declared as a result. These are all part of the support government. So it's all part of the partnership, but no necessarily mean that equity stake. I think you are trying to say equity stake.
Because when you mention PPP, it means that Ghana has equity in the venture that is going to be.
It depends. So here is give and take. If you look at the risky area, which is the hard stuff, so the refineries, petrochemical plants, the storage and jetties are built, own and operate. Okay. Then you come to the ancillaries. So the ancillaries, we are looking at the state-of-the-art laboratories. We are looking at LNG terminals. We are looking at power plants. We are looking at the real estate, commercial area. These are the cash cow areas. So you do a JV, a joint venture between the government of Ghana through PADC and the private sector. A minimum is 10%. And it's a carried interest, you see. So I don't know, we're trying to avoid government actually putting in because we are already constrained. Okay. So that is where the benefit. So you're getting employment, you're getting taxes, and then the JV. Because the JV, if you are not contributing, maybe you do the modeling and it's going to take 5 years for them to take care of your cost. The 6-7 years going.
That's when you start benefiting.
You start benefiting.
10%.
Yes.
On the profit that they make.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and it's not on the hard stuff. Remember, the hardcore with the risk areas are solely for the private sector. Okay. Why we did that is that a lot of them were also complaining of government interference. So we structured it in such a way that do your BOO, But when it comes to the common usage, then we'll do a JV.
Okay.
And then it's not also a build, own and transfer. It's not a BOT.
Yeah.
Because then sometimes they run at the latter end that is fully depreciated.
Yeah.
They transfer it to us and then they say we are not able to manage assets. Okay. So we want to do this long-term marriage until the last span of the asset. And the duration is 50 years. You see, when we lease the land, it's a 50-year duration that we give. So all projects have a lifespan of 50 years and to be able to embark on.
So build, own, operate.
Build, own, operate on the key infrastructure.
Okay.
And a joint venture on the ancillary.
On that, okay. And so, for example, these Chinese, you mentioned that they're going to build a refinery. Is that,
refinery with a capacity of 300,000 barrels per stream day, one petrochemical plant, 90,000, 3 million storage tanks, and a jetty.
Okay. So where do we have the jetty, the JV in this arrangement?
So here is the jetty. You see, the jetty comes when it's a common usage. Why common usage? Common usage is a thing everybody is using. So when you build a road, it's not phase one that will use the road.
Yeah.
Phase two use the road. Phase three use the road. So it becomes a common usage. So you JVize it.
Okay.
The jetty is a conduit that either you use it to discharge crude to refine or process, and then you use the same jetty to offload. So that one becomes a common user because everybody is trying to use it. So then we JVize that. So among the four, it is the jetty and the port infrastructure that will do a JV with them. And even it's a carried interest.
Okay.
As I said, we are not going to put in money now. And then when you say, I don't have money, it's okay, then let's do it. When you have money, come on. No, that is not.
Okay. Let's come to the downstream then, because of your extensive, experience in the field. Now, some CSOs in the energy sector have said, and I quote, the petroleum downstream sector of Ghana faces imminent collapse if new policies and urgent reforms are not undertaken. The seeming stability and availability of petroleum product on the market hangs on a volatile system. The Ghanaian consumer is paying for high credit and bad debt management in the current system, unquote. With your extensive experience in the sector, what sort of reforms does the downstream sector of Ghana's petroleum industry demand or need?
I think it's about time we move away from silo mentality and come together as a country, and the policy makers also take advantage on. Why am I saying this? Everybody wants to be champion in their own corner and say, A did this and B did this, and we were awarded A and B is not happy. But when we all come together and we do it and say, oh, they've won, the downstream has won together, then it's going to help us. Now, you remember there's a lot of discussion on this good for oil, and then the OMC are even writing on it that we need to look at the holistic overhaul or overview of the downstream. Now, to me, the reforms, if they're going to do a reforms, my own recommendation will be that we need to bring on board BOST, TOR, Ghana Gas, and Petroleum Hub together. Okay. As one body. BOST, Ghana Gas, Petroleum Hub, TOR. Yes. Four. Yes. As one body. One body. They are all doing the same thing. Okay. You see, when petroleum takes off, it's going to be the face of the downstream. But petroleum... You mean if the petroleum hub takes off? Yes. Which, no, because we signed phase one already, so the reason why it has not commenced, so that's why I use the word if. Yeah. Yes. So you bring these bodies together. One, you're going to have a strong balance sheet. You're going to have an improved corporate governance. There's going to be a reduction of cost and efficiency. And then you are able to compete globally. Now, if I take a decision, let's say, at Petroleum Hub, my board, and then we need BOST to come on board, BOST board has to sit down. They might decide not to agree to it. I need to go to Ghana Gas, same. But if you have all this, you have one board, one, they take a decision, it helps the investor, and you're able to move on. It brings efficiency. And because they are doing, if we take the likes of Saudi Aramco, Petronas, PetroChina, they are doing from upstream to downstream. If you go to this country, and they are big, they have strong balance sheet. The entities I've mentioned, if you look at it, they are doing the same thing. But BOST is what is BOST's role? Storage and transportation. Yes. TOR is to process. Yeah. Ghana Gas is also processing, but in a different feedstock, which is gas. But that's where you need your LNGs and LPGs from. Okay, so
to feed, for example, the petroleum hub.
That's what I'm saying. So if you have one CEO, you can build 4 GMs, general manager in charge of what?
Gas.
LNG and gas.
Okay.
Then you have a general manager for storage and transportation.
Okay.
General manager for processing or refinery and petrochemicals.
Okay.
Or petchems. And then you have general manager for commercial and investment.
That's the petroleum hub.
No. I'm just giving. So now you are bringing them.
Yes.
So general manager for investment and commercial.
Okay.
You have one CEO, you have one board. Strong balance sheet. There's no way they cannot succeed in Ghana and go elsewhere to compete. You see now, the people are doing internationalization. We are here talking about localization. If you go to Singapore, now they are driving them to go outside Singapore to also be champions. So we need a strong balance sheet. We need proper corporate governance. We need efficiency, and then we'll be able to compete globally. So that will be my recommendation within the downstream. So we need to come together. Remember, if you look at the OMC's write-up that they did, they are saying that yes, the gold for oil is good, but that one alone cannot trigger the reduction at the pump prices. So we need infrastructure. Look, most of our transportation are by road.
Yeah.
We can build, you see, from Jomro, you connect to, say, Tema, you are looking at about 310 to 380 kilometers, about $200 to $300 million. You can build a pipeline that you can just pump products to Tema or Tor Depot, and they distribute because they already have the existing infrastructure. So this is why we need to all come together and get it done.
But again, if you do that, then the people who are into the haulage business are also being cut off then.
No. The haulage business are the people you are bringing. You see, the person is doing road.
Yeah.
That's transportation. You are moving, say, let's do pipe. You are not living there. That's what I'm saying. We need to move away from our silos mentality. All of us has to come together. This is your strength. You've been doing haulage for 20 years. But we think with time, you'll be out of business. So let's go into piping. I believe they will understand because it's a matter of contribution or ownership because they need to get something in return. Okay. So you are not just moving them from haulage into refining because they don't have expertise there. I believe that...
I'm not even talking in terms of, say, BOST, which is into storage and transportation.
But your tankers association.
Exactly. I'm looking at the individual...
No, that's what I'm saying that... That's what I'm saying that the tankers association are into transportation.
Yes.
Or that's not why you clarify them.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm saying BOST is also into transportation.
Yes.
I wasn't even looking at BOST.
Okay.
I was looking at this tankers.
So they should come and invest in the pipeline.
Yes, not that they should come. We all have to sit down and say that this is what we want to do.
Okay.
If you don't join, with time you'll be out. Because look, if you and I come together and we put in the $300 million and build this pipeline, they are out.
Yeah.
Government, we might say government policy did not protect them.
Yeah.
They will scream, they will shout, with time, they are out.
Yeah.
That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying let's all come together. What they know about this transport business. So you are moving them away from the vehicles into a modern pipe that the same investment that you made, but it's not one day. You know, you have to transit. Yeah. So we are giving ourselves the next 2-3 years. We don't import additional cars again or additional vehicles because we are going this direction. Yeah. The 10 million that you have, contribute. Or all of them can come together and say, okay, we have $50 million. We want to partake in that. You see, the idea is I want to own, I want to be called is a challenge. And it happened in the banking sector. If they are come together and form one bank, because everybody wanted to be a CEO. And then what we saw that now they are home, nobody is being called a CEO. So I think it's about time we avoid silos mentality. We need to come together and work. Because at the end of the day, it is your pocket you are looking out for. If you structure it well, everybody will benefit. And you see, the same thing is happening in the regulatory framework. If an investor they are complaining, they have to go here, pay. You see, our regulatory here is about fees. But it's not to check or to monitor. Okay. So they go here, they get something. They go here, they get something. They go here, they get something. But we can just get one regulatory body, the same fee charge, and then we do the distribution. The investor will see us more efficient. So that's the corner. We need to sit down and look at all this thing because everybody is complaining about our charges.
Yeah.
We can't, if it's 10 cedis you want to charge, I'm charging 2, you are charging 2, he's charging 2, he's charging 2. It brings back to the 10. I can only charge the 2. Put a system in place. As soon as the payment is made, it just do the distribution.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Let's put systems in place and make the investor comfortable. So I'm saying that let's treat energy as a business enterprise and not a social enterprise.
Okay.
Once you say it's a business, you have the client in mind. Because without the client, you don't exist. And the marketers will tell you, every customer has a leg. But if you don't see business as energy as a business enterprise, and you think, oh, they will come. Even if I open at 9, people will come and buy my fuel. If I open at we are losing it. But when we take it as a business enterprise and we see the investor as a client, our behavior towards them will change. Why should I frustrate the investor? When you go to Petroleum Hub, from the reception to everywhere is digitalized. Nobody comes to take check. Imagine somebody from Jomro has done a work. He's coming to take a check of 1,000. He's losing over 200 or 500 out of it.
Yeah.
I've not helped the
it could be more than that.
Yes, so I'm just for mathematics. Sake. So 1,000, he has got 200. Say 800. I can't do that. So what do I do? Wherever you are, we transfer your money to you.
Okay.
I have you in mind because you're my client. Because I know I'm in business with you.
Yeah.
But until we have that and see that the business enterprise within the downstream is a business enterprise and it's not a social, we will bring all the factors that make a client happy. And so I believe small is more to the customer. If we have this concept within the downstream, and we must all sit down, judge and then implement. It's not like I have been in the business for 20 years. I've been in the business for 50 years. You came in 5 years. You want us to change everything to your benefit. No. When we don't do that, very soon we will move because, you see, the economy of scale, Petroleum Hub is coming on board. Look, our entire storage is about 1.9, almost 2 million. Only phase 1 is doing 3 million storage.
Okay.
Phase 2 will do 4 million. Phase 3 will do 3 million, giving 10 million storage. The policy line is that they are not supposed to interfere with the domestic market.
Yes.
But with time, you see that you go to them to come and buy the domestic because the economy of scale will not favor you. So we need to sit down and then see how what I'm stressing on, how do we work together?
Okay.
As a team.
So I mean, the CSOs also sharing what you're saying because they write that since 2015, and after the downstream was deregulated, the people who are service providers, the petroleum service providers, are increasing at an astronomical level. That if you compare the numbers increasing in terms of the quantities we've consumed, it looks like even though the numbers are increasing, but the quantities are not. So the argument, I mean, the number of PSPs
yes, are increasing.
But in terms of petroleum product that we've consumed in Ghana,
are not.
It is not. It is.
Oh, no. I have the data here.
Because they say.
No, I'm coming.
Okay.
So if you look at the MPA, there's a data from MPA. I have from 2019 to 2024. 2019, we consumed 4.1 million metric ton.
Okay.
And these are data we can all check from MPA. That's 4.1 million. 2020, we consumed 4.2 million metric ton. 2021, we consumed 4.6 million metric ton.
So their argument is that the average annual percentage change of OMC is 5.12%, compared to the annual percentage change in total consumption of about 5.15%. So if you look at the change in consumption, it is not too high to the change in numbers of OMC providing the same service. So the argument is that can we limit the number of OMCs, maybe have bigger OMCs rather?
Yeah, so I think you are sharing the idea.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
They sync with what you are.
Exactly. So you see, when the issues are coming from them, it's better. It helps to solve. So they have to come together, and then policy will take up. And saying going forward, we want to deal with 50 OMCs in Ghana. Now they are about. I don't have the data, so I don't want to put any numbers there. They are more than 100.
Yeah.
But if government gets up...
So they say that
yeah.
There were 139 in 2015, But in 2024, there are over 200.
Okay.
With the highest growth rate of 19.79%. That's 230 OMCs in 2021.
Yeah, so it's affecting the bottom line. So the point I'm making here, this, what they've raised is very beautiful. If government gets up and say, we want to deal with 50 OMCs, there will be demonstrations, there will be chaos, and there will be shortage of petroleum products.
Okay.
Now they are raising a concern. So policy makers will take it up, do the study, investigate, sit down with them, say, can we deal with 50? And then say, within the 50, we have grade A, we have grade B, and we have grade C. We know the categories, and then we have minimum requirement for them, how to regulate them. So to me, this call is very good.
Yeah.
We all need to sit down and say, we are prepared to cut our number to 50 or 100. And this is how we want to do it. They can come up with solutions. You see, I did a study, and when you deal with them, they have all the solutions. So once you are done, then the policymakers pick it up, then take a decision, then we all abide by that. So I believe now it's affecting their bottom line. So you can sell as much as you could, but the margin on it is not. And no, the downstream or the retail market deals with the more you consume or the more you sell.
Yeah.
It's more about volumes.
Volumes, yes.
It's because the margin is very, very tiny. So it's more about volume. So if they are proposing, I believe the regulator, I saw the CEO meeting them and all of that. I think they will put it before him. And then there should be a stakeholder discussion. I think the OMC is leading that. We believe all these issues should come out, do a report, and then how do we implement it? We sit there and say, it's about time that we deal with 100 OMCs in Ghana, 50 OMCs. It has to come from them. And then the policymaker will take it up, and then they would all implement it together. So there is no government trying to sabotage their business.
Okay.
And so that's the angle I'm trying to draw.
Okay. All right, then. Let me be a bit biased here.
Okay.
I'm from Ahanta West. Now, why did you jump over Ahanta West and go to Jomoro to build a petroleum hub? Why didn't you consider Ahanta West, for example?
Thank you. So if you look at the master plan, which began in July 2017, under the former minister, Honorable Boachajako, Honorable Kujo,
Joseph Kujo.
Honorable Joseph Kujo, Efia, as popularly known. And then we have Amewu came, and Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe implemented it and all of that. That study considered 3 areas.
Okay.
Salt Pond, Atuabo, and Jomro.
Oh. You didn't consider Ahanta West in there?
Yes, so I'm coming. I'm going to give you the factor because you know that area, then maybe you take the bus, you tell me. So one, they were looking at a place with less populated. Okay. The depth of your water. You know, we're looking at vessels that can be able to dock. We're looking at 150,000 metric ton, 200,000 metric ton, 300,000 metric ton. So the VLCC, that's the very large crude carriers, and the ultra large crude carriers. So that was one of the second factor. And 2, the flat of the land. Okay. Or the flatness, of the land. So these 3, but the most important was the 1, which in terms of the trying to displace people and all of that. So we considered all of that, and Jomro gave us the best. Look, if you take Jomro, the depth of their waters, we're looking at 16 to 30.
All right, I hear.
Which is very, very, very deep for this project. So
I'm
I believe.
Yeah,
you know why we did it. So it was not.
But next time when you have a project, please consider Ahanta.
It will affect. It will, you know.
I know, but next time when you have a specific project, consider Ahanta. We have good land there. Come and put up some there so that our people can enjoy some.
Point well noted.
All right then. Charles Owusu Esquire, FCA, is an energy economist, chartered accountant, and a lawyer. He is the immediate past CEO or the founding CEO of the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation. Well, we'll take a break here. We'll be back with more here on the AM show. Do stay with us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.